We go now to Halifax, where the unveiling of a very special monument took place earlier this afternoon. 72 years ago, a German liner set sail from Hamburg carrying 937 Jewish people fleeing Nazi persecution. The St. Louis tried to dock at several ports from Cuba all the way to Halifax. The refugees were turned back everywhere they stopped. And at Halifax, the ship turned back to Europe. Many of the passengers ended up in death camps. The monument dedicated today was designed by architect and designer Daniel Libeskind, and the graphic design, though, came from Ottawa's David Berman. He's with us now from Halifax. Hi, David.
Hi, Alan. How are you?
I'm fine. For people who might not have seen the monument today, I'm wondering if you can describe it for us.
Certainly. The monument's quite remarkable. It's about 7 feet tall. It's called the Wheel of Conscience. And Daniel Liebeskind's vision was of interweaving ship's gears, which are showing how ideas of hatred, racism, xenophobia, and anti-Semitism are interlocked as a machine.
Mm-hmm. And in fact, the smallest is hatred, and then it branches out with each wheel.
Yes, that's right. Hatred drives racism. Racism drives xenophobia. Xenophobia drives anti-Semitism.
Then amidst...
And then those four gears are part of a larger wheel that rotates and tells the entire story. It's a dynamic monument. It's actually a machine.
Mm-hmm. And the image of the St. Louis is also present as well.
Yes, on the surface on the front of the monument, there's a picture, and the picture on there is not just of the MS St. Louis, the ship. It's photo that was actually taken the very day that these 937 passengers left Hamburg, Germany. It's a picture of the ship leaving Hamburg that day. And because the gears are moving and the picture is on top of the gears as well as in the background, as the gears turn, you can't necessarily make out the ship, and it looks kind of chaotic at times and then falls into place. So it's a bit of a challenge to the viewer. It's also reflective, so you can see yourself as well in the imagery.
And
very moving.
Your contribution, and I think, as you just mentioned there, your own image is also reflected back at you as you're looking at it. It's a reflective surface, and therefore it forces the viewer to think about themselves.
Absolutely, and I think every Canadian would benefit from coming to Halifax, to Pier 21, to Canada's Immigration Museum, and experiencing this and seeing themselves. The entire museum's remarkable, but this particular piece that's been inaugurated today is something very special to me and to everyone who worked on it.
Your role involved both the photo and the words on the monument, finding the racism, hatred, anti-Semitism, xenophobia, the words. Can you talk to me a little bit about the work that went into that?
Certainly. Equally powerful, on the other side of the wheel, we've set the names of all 937 passengers. The entire passenger list is there in etched stainless steel. And that, in fact, was a larger challenge than doing the graphic design that we did on the front of the monument, because, of course, we had to get it right. It's like the Vietnam Memorial and Veterans Memorial, and that you have all the names there for eternity.
The font that you chose, though, for the words racism, hatred, xenophobia, and anti-Semitism has considerable significance as well.
Indeed it does. I wanted to choose a typeface that was both appropriate in terms of the tone, but also to help fulfill Daniel's artistic vision. We chose a typeface that came out of that also came out of Germany in the late 1930s. It's a typeface called DIN, and it's a typeface that was used by the Third Reich a lot. And so it's a typeface that on its own is very effective, but it has deeper connotations because we've all seen this typeface in so many applications. It has a sense of, it's ominous. It's an ominous typeface. And then we colored those letters we picked up the red from the Nazi flag, again, to give a sense of the tone of the time and the mechanism of hatred.
This is the first monument, as I mentioned, anywhere in the world for the passengers of the St. Louis. Why did you personally want to get involved?
Well, past year, in June last year, I was in Berlin for the first time, and as a Jew, it was very profound for me. Especially profound was that I spent a day at the Jewish Museum in Berlin, which is designed by Daniel Libeskind. And when I got back to Ottawa, I saw an editorial in the Ottawa Citizen, which was about this project, and it explained how he had won this this competition that the Canadian Jewish Congress put on. They had 25 entries, and he won the competition to design this. There was a sketch of it, and I thought that I could help. I thought I could help make it great, so I got in touch with him, and he was very excited about us doing the graphic design for the project. So before we knew it, we were working with him and became part of his team.
I thought it was interesting listening to the speeches where people were bringing up the idea that this is the Canada of the past. Do you agree with that statement? When you look at that monument today, do you think this is a Canada that no longer exists?
It's a continuum, Alan. You know, there were a lot of great things going on back then, and there are a lot of great things going on now, and there are a lot of things that need healing from then, and there's still things that need healing now. And we can never sit back and say, oh, we've solved the problem of hatred, or we've solved the problem of anti-Semitism in particular. You know, we're a country of immigrants. None of us have been here very long. And part of our strength is the diversity of culture and community we have. It's also our strength is perhaps that we aren't so connected to the land. And so I think it's something we have to be ever vigilant about. And why this monument today is as much a celebration as a memorial in that you can see the contrasts from where we came and where we are now, but also we can remind Canadians of all ages of the importance of being vigilant.
David Berman, thanks very much for your time today. Congratulations.
Alan, may I add one more thing before you go? I just wanted to mention it wasn't just me who worked on this in Ottawa. Trevor Johnston, another designer who I work with, I've known for decades since high school. We worked on this together. My mother, the first archivist of the Jewish community, and my dad did the proofreading of the passenger list. It was really a community effort, and all the people on my team, my studio at David Berman Communications, photo research. I just wanted to say it wasn't just me. It was the whole team.
No, absolutely. Thank you very much for pointing that out. David, and thanks for your time today.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Alan.
That's David Berman, an Ottawa graphic designer. If you've seen the monument and you want to share your thoughts with us, all in a day at cbc.ca is our email address.